none of them will be on the streets. There will be no dharnas. Because instead of a central excise officer and a state sales tax officer, you will have one GST officer at a central level and a state level. They will all get subsumed into the system. It's the same guy wearing a different cap tomorrow. So I don't think there's going to be any fundamental rational change in the manner in which they operate. It's just that the thinking has to change, that this is now GST. And it is not my fiefdom of a central law and your fiefdom of a state law. It is one unified law being operated together. Pratik, you want to add something since you are the GST guy?
Just a couple of points here. One is on the economy side. There are estimates, which this report also talks about, that Indian GDP should grow anywhere. Incremental impact of GST is anywhere between 0.9% to 1.7% per annum. We spoke about 6% growth. You add that much, several billions of dollars. What are the reasons? One is he talked about the parallel economy coming into the fray. Your exports will become much more competitive because when you export today, there are a lot of embedded taxes there. So you'll be able to export more. Because of this peculiar tax system in India, our supply chain is designed in a manner that is very inefficient. There are studies which say that around $75–80 billion in a year, India loses only because of inefficient supply chain system, because of inefficient taxes. So all of these things will lead to economic growth. And the point about tax officers, you will need many more because there will be 30–40 lakh people who would be added under the GST list of dealers, because today all the retail at a retail level, you're only registered for state GST. Tomorrow you will also have to be registered for federal GST because everybody will have to pay 2 taxes. So there will be many more people who will come under the GST net, and therefore you need many more tax officials to administer. And as he says rightly, that it's only a thinking which has to change, but and there are, this report also talks about there'll be at least 20 million new jobs which will be created because of GST, because of the economic growth that we're talking about. Thank you.
Yeah.
So what makes you think that the government or the states are going to hand over their financial autonomy and agree to the GST? Because they are totally going to hand over the financial autonomy because there'll be no role of the NDC and the Finance Commission. It'll all be relegated to the center to decide.
No. So there's a couple of points here. The fiscal autonomy has been a big issue. And as I was explaining, that when we started the GST discussion, at that point in time, it's completely unilateral. So, federal government had all the powers, or that was the proposal. Till now, when we have reached here, there's a lot of dilution that has happened. And that dilution is primarily because of the fiscal autonomy issues, whether it is for the states to decide on a particular band of rate, or for them to introduce a new tax in case of national calamity, etc. So there is a lot of things which has been agreed to. So it's not entirely correct to say the fiscal autonomy will be completely lost. It will be diluted to an extent. The second thing is, why should states agree? If you see the VAT experience, all the states have seen huge amount of revenue growth, 30, 40, 50% revenue growth once VAT came in. So once GST comes in, they will have a right to tax services, which they don't have today. So they have a lot of carrots for them to go to. Okay, and Finance Commission also will be there because the Constitution says, amendment bill says that the central government will collect taxes, and then they will apportion it with the states. So Finance Commission will still be there. There will still be apportionment of the central GST which will be collected. So the formula for that distribution will change, but the role of Finance Commission will still remain. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.